own creativity and this highest emanation of our humanity, which is the ability to create beauty. And so, without really knowing anything about what I was doing, started making up dances in the streets. And I was a collectivist and anti-authoritarian at heart, so I was like, well, we should all be the choreographer. And so each person would make up a gesture, and by accumulation, we would, add these movements together. And then we were too big to go behind the little police fence where everyone was supposed to be, holding their little sign and shouting out their message. I'm like, oh no, I have claustrophobia, I can't do that. So we were out on the street corner, doing these dances, people who've never, danced before, with our signs, and, Mr. Prez, stop, whatever it was. And basically we ended up being on Channel 2, Channel 4, Channel 11, and whenever the police officers would come up, they would say to us, well, you're not really supposed to be, in the streets, but we were so benign and so cute and everything that we'd say, oh, Mr. Officer, we'll be done with our street theater piece in just a second. And he'd like, well, hurry up then, little lady, And so the next, then we were in the media all the time, everywhere. You can't buy front page coverage like that. And it was only because we were doing something that was different, that was interesting. We have to keep re-innovating what we do. And again, a shout out to the Backbone Campaign and all the creative organizers up in this room right now who are making creative actions, because that is what's going to keep this movement alive and keep us stimulated and keep us compelling, keep us magnetic and not boring. And we don't want to alienate ourselves. We want to be so hot and so compelling and just have everyone just want to flock and come to us. So we have to keep thinking like somebody else other than ourselves and other than our small knit group. Like, what would it take to have that person over there be excited to be marching with us over here? So always be thinking outside of ourselves that way. And I think that's what the mind of an artist can do when an artist is committed to community and doing relevant art instead of just serving this up, your own little world. So, and our earth is calling us to be creative like that, right? Yeah. Woo! Yeah. So, okay. 5 minutes. Oh my God. Okay. I wish we had like days together. Okay. But basically, I wanted to say that I'm also, the other hat that I wear is, and I'll mention first that as far as cultural organizing goes, what I'm doing now is running a youth organization called Art in Action, which is a youth leadership program based in Oakland, California, working with homeless and low-income street youth, hip-hop artists, some of the most resilient youth you can ever imagine, people who have dealt with gun violence and everything you can imagine, all of the kind of terrible things that happen in a society that's based in oppression and the destruction of earth and people. They have dealt with it. They've been on the front lines of poverty and oppression and are some of the most talented artists and inspire me and for me are the leaders of our movement. And so if you ever want to come down to Oakland and check in with Art in Action, we just opened the first green youth media center for low-income youth in the Bay Area. Got to see Phaedra for a moment, and I know that Energy Action Coalition is only one of the organizations that made this particular power shift happen, and I really want to call out the other organizations who made this happen, because I know it was a collective and it was a group effort. And when Phaedra made that video, she didn't know all of the different organizers, but she is so, Green for All is so in love with this movement and wants to be a stand for you guys and do whatever we can do to support this movement, because we feel your support. We feel how you guys have been a stand for us. And just a couple minutes about what Green for All is. Green for All started with a big conference called the Dream Reborn. And the Dream Reborn was an idea that Van had. Were you there? Yes. Woo! All right. So you know how amazing it was. It was basically the first environmental conference that was 70% people of color, 60% youth. Like a traditional environmental conference based about green jobs in Memphis, timed with the 40th anniversary of the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King. So it was just so powerful and so potent, and that really helped launch the green jobs movement. And I was fortunate enough to be the event chair of that and help kind of pull all that together. And we had 100 speakers, and it was just, it had never been done before. We greened the conference center at Memphis and had these union guys standing around going, all right, we're going to compost, and it was just so amazing. And people were into it. So Green for All is committed, its mission is to uplift people out of poverty through the green economy. And that is what we do every single day, that we are so committed. There's about 30 staff people. We wake up every morning with that commitment. in every capacity that we can. We run a couple different programs, and I won't go into a lot of detail. One is our Capital Access program that's supporting entrepreneurship and creating a fund for entrepreneurs of color and entrepreneurs for hiring people with barriers to employment. We have Green the Block. If you can get online and look at Green the Block, that's a collaboration with Reverend Yearwood from Hip Hop Caucus. And then we also have a number of campaigns, but what I've been working on is a policy campaign on the Senate climate bill. And I talked about it earlier on the panel, so I won't take a lot of time talking about it right now. But basically, we know we're in a critical situation. The bill just passed through the EPW, and what Green for All has been committed to is making sure that there are provisions for the communities that just constantly get left out. So the provisions that Phaedra mentioned up there, the Green Jobs Act is $860 million for job training and green job creation. And the Green Construction Careers Demonstration Project is a provision that says we want local hire, we want jobs right in our communities, and we want wealth-creating jobs that respect workers and are dignified, that have the opportunity for growth and protection in those jobs. And the other thing we're fighting for against the utilities right now is a provision that says we want 1/3 of the allowances, the free allowances that are going to utilities, which is already like crazy. We at least want 1/3 of those to go to energy efficiency. And energy efficiency is really the low-hanging fruit in our movement right now. And as I said earlier, you know, we are so excited about solar business and solar installation, but we cannot slap solar panels on a house that's leaking carbon like crazy out the seams. You know, we want to make sure that we tighten up our building stock before we're losing 40% of our energy and creating pollution. And we want to create the opportunity for those jobs to be made available to people with barriers and to have easy access jobs that have room to grow. So those are the things we're fighting for in the bill. Whether we'll continue as an organization standing behind this bill, it depends on how weak it gets. You know, it's a weak bill to begin with. It's certainly not the bill that Green for All would have written, but it's the bill that we're dealing with right now, and it's not easy. It's a nuanced situation, but we want to make sure the communities who've been forgotten time and time again get included if this thing goes through.